fam, welcome to another episode of Good, Bad, and Ugly about real estate. I have a great guest for you, my boy Voight. Oh, look at
What's
that.
going on? How are you? Thanks for having me. I'll take it.
Welcome, Voight. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me on. I've been seeing you just been doing amazing things, staying busy with the community, staying busy online. Super excited, man. I just actually got back from Tucson with Jarrett Morrison and David Moody. We were actually checking out some properties. One hopefully possible co-living that we're looking at, and yeah, so it's exciting. It's kind of a new push, but we're looking at some new opportunities and some new markets within Arizona.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I like to start our episode, with people sharing their journey in real estate and how they decided to get into real estate. So you can see the audience, what got you into
Sure.
real estate, how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Yeah. Great question. Thanks so much for that. So my background, growing up, actually started off in 2007. Actually went to a conference. It was my first real estate investor conference. That was in 2007. And I was sitting there and I was thinking I want to get into fix and flipping, learning about properties, understanding a little bit more. And I didn't have a background of it before, but I always was always interested in getting into it. So at that time I was going with with my sister to the first conference, and the guy that was speaking on the stage was super knowledgeable when it comes down to real estate. He's been in the game for a long time. His name is James Smith, and he just kind of challenged the people. He said, "What do you want to do with your life? What are you looking to do? If you're going to take charge, it's time to take charge now and start learning." And at that point in time, I didn't have the money to pay it, but it was $7,000 to get the some binders and
Right?
like three different binders and like coaching for almost like I think maybe a month or so. So that's how it was done. This was back in 2007. So I went back and to the table, said, "Sign me up. Let's get it going." And that's when that was my start of getting into learning real estate. Now, the funny thing about it, I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna start getting this first deal, what I'm gonna go ahead and do. Very interesting is I had a buddy that I worked with, and he was actually getting rid of his house. His parents, they had they had purchased a house before with him, and he just wanted to get out of it and get into a new home. He's like, "Hey, man, I know that you're always talking about that you want to get into, real estate investing. Do you want to do a fix and flip with me?" And we never done anything like this at all. So in 2007, we started that journey and said, "Hey, let's try this out." And it's his house, and I said, "It's gonna be me and you. We'll figure this out all together." And as you know, man, I mean, we went through some ups and downs, big time ups and downs on it. And then I'll get there, possibly there about 2008 hit, and I'm sure you know what happened there. The
Yeah.
crash happened. So we sat on a house for over a year, waiting for it to
Wow.
sell because of the 2008 crazy crash with everything that was going on.
Right.
So that was a huge learning lesson. I was super thankful to be a part of it because what I learned on that whole process is my first fix and flip, man. I've learned so many things about contractors, hiring, vetting people. I didn't know that before, and this has really kind of jump started me into the real estate game. So I was very happy about that.
So
So
where'd you go from there? I mean, that's 2008. It's 2025, right?
yes,
That's a
yes,
long time. So
that is.
give me from your first fix or flip that you learned all this about
Yep.
how to deal with contractors to you now getting into co-living and then expanding into different markets.
Yeah, absolutely. So after that, so I did that flip there, and we actually lost money on there, sitting on it so long too. But I was like, hey, let's. I learned so much from it. And my buddy said, would you ever do this again? Since we lost money on it. I said, we didn't lose, man. We had the education of it was
Yeah,
a wealth of knowledge. That was it. I was like, that was what I took from it, big time, and just in the relationship as well with him, being able to fix and flip for the first time. My background is I DJ'd for many years. I did film as well. So between that time of that 2007, 2008, I didn't flip again. I wasn't flipping again. I didn't know how to get back into it when it comes down to finding a new property or deal finding. I just had a buddy that said, "Hey, help me out," and that's where I was
right.
at. I I had a traditional home. I purchased before. I lived in lived in my house in Albuquerque, New Mexico at that point in time, and I didn't know if how to get into another property at that point in time. So I still continue to do multimedia and then and DJing at the same time. So I did that all the way until 2015.
Okay.
Um, Fast forward, moved here to Phoenix, Arizona, for a job opportunity up here. Worked for GoDaddy, and awesome. So I was building websites, domain names, and things of that nature. And then in 2018, 2015 as well, I said I got to get back into this. So I started working as a mortgage loan officer. So maybe that's the first step to get back in, maybe to get into
Okay.
the traditional line of things. So got
Right.
my uh, mortgage loan officer license. Started off from 2015, learning, and then fast forward all the way to 2018. Was looking at some other property at that point in time, but never got into it because I was like, hey, now let's try to do some investments. And we were looking at all the what you had to do from investment homes and things of that nature. I was like, wow, there's got to be a better way and easier way to get into stuff. And then fast forward to 2024 is when I found Pace Online because as a mortgage loan officer, I was always pretty much it's speaking with clients and it's always like a high buy or deny. I mean, it was just like there's got to be a better way for people to get in mortgages or a house, and it's
Right.
so with with lending a lot of times. So what I did a search as like how to get how to get into homes, how to start LLC, just a little bit more in detail, and Pace video popped up in 2024. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. I've never heard of subject two. I've never heard,
Right.
like seller financing and how you can actually get into homes and zero money down. I've heard about it, just from the, out in the ether waves, but I didn't never really looked into it. But this one, I was like, hey, this makes a lot of sense. And I like how he explained things and I dug into it. So the next day, I actually just purchased and got into sub two and just start learning. I mean, I just started hitting the ground running, uh, understanding what's going on, connecting with people, going through, like you said, interviews and a connection and getting on Zooms like this just to learn a little bit more about everything. And just the last year has been amazing, just from what I learned and how I've grown when it comes down to real estate itself. Um, Major focus right now is with single family homes here in Arizona. Anything from just your basic you know 4 bedrooms, two bathroom, or anything like that. And then as we're progressing right now, we're looking at where the affordable living. We're hearing a lot about affordable living, and there's a lot of more opportunity now because of
Right.
the affordable living. So not just looking in the Phoenix, Maricopa area, we're looking now in Pima, which is Tucson area now, which was one of the trip I just got back from as of yesterday, which was
Oh,
really
nice.
awesome opportunity out there. So for a possible co-living up there. That's how
Well,
kind of like the genesis and the kind of where I'm at right now.
that's awesome. I'm glad you said that because I do look for properties in Pima County. So
Really? Okay.
that way, if I find
Okay.
something, I know got at least one person that might be interested.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we definitely are. We're definitely going to connect on it for sure.
Well, cool. So I got a couple questions for you. I mean, in my journey, I went through probably over 4 mentorships. So am I right in believing that basically Pace was your first mentorship that you invested in to get into
I
this,
would say that,
other than James Smith? Other than James Smith.
yeah, right. James Smith was like the first one, right? But it was so short lived. After you had your month of your mentorship or
Yeah.
coaching, it was done. I mean,
Yeah.
and it was done. And then, so so if I didn't get that first deal, I'm sure that was like I was going to end up just reading books, those last manuals, and just learning about real estate. I wouldn't know how to actually start deal finding where I need to go next, how to connect with realtors, agents, things of that nature. So I'd say the real actual mentor, like you're saying,
Yeah.
absolutely would be Pace because of what he shares and his mindset.
Right. I'm curious. The name James Smith sounds familiar. Is that gentleman quite tall?
Absolutely,
And does he usually
very
like?
tall guy. Yes.
Okay, I know that guy
Yep.
is a character. I met
Yep.
him. I don't say met him, but I was introduced to him. He was a speaker on stage
Okay.
at oh goodness gracious, what was it called? Life Surge. That's what it was called. The event.
That's exactly that's what he's been promoting. I've been
Yeah,
seeing that on the Instagram. Yep.
and I
So funny
love
you say
that guy,
that.
man. He just kind of tells you straight from the hip. He doesn't filter, no nothing, and I love
That's
that about people.
exactly. there's not a lot of people that know who I'm talking about when I mention him. That's
Yeah,
so
I wouldn't
crazy.
know if I hadn't gone to that event. I would not know who you're talking about. But then when you say that, I mean,
Really?
it's a name that just like I wonder if
Yep.
it's the same guy.
It's the same guy. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
He's
and he shoots from the hip, like you said. He was direct, and that's what he's like. Hey, he punches right in the mouth, man. And
oh
I know
yeah,
you being a military guy, you love that, and you can respect it. And I'm from a military family. I know you can respect that. You're like
yeah,
just straight to the point and
yeah,
direct. Yeah, that's exactly him. So cool.
yeah. That's awesome, man.
That-
Um, so again, the title of the podcast, "Good, Bad, and Ugly." Do you have a good story you want to share with people in your journey, and then maybe
Man,
outside this 1 year holding on to a property? I mean, if you have
yes.
any other ones, that would be great to share with a not
Good.
so happy ending, I guess.
Great question. Yeah. So I mean, the first one was just the highlight, honestly, to kind of kick me into the real estate um journey, honestly, because we ran past everything. So the first, like I mentioned before earlier, vetting your contractors. That was the big thing too. So we went to Home Depot looking for some tools and trying to get things going. And for could start construction of the house. So we were there and we met a contractor that was there. He's like, hey, this is what we do. He gave us his card. We thought it was how this is this is professional. He came up to us while we were kind of shopping. I guess he saw during the headlights when we were shopping, like, what do we do? What do we need? We don't know. We're
Right,
all asking these questions. He probably overheard that. So he's like, okay, this is perfect. So he gave us his card. You're like, okay, this is very nice and this is professional. So the first couple weeks, yeah, went amazing, right? And then after a while, they start kicking the can down the road when it comes down to getting things done. I was like, well, what's going on? There was always a new excuse. So they were kind
sure,
of like, hey, I'm at another property. We're finishing up this type of property, and so we'll come over there, an hour later. Then they'd come over, and then you're finding like, okay, this is not done. What we talked about, like our, the sheetrock's not up, this is not up, and we're like, what's going on? And I guess after going through that process, honestly, down the road, 5, 6 months down the road, we found out, hey, these guys are just kind of bouncing off different projects from everyone else and just trying to kick the project down the road and then
right,
get as much money out of us. So I had a budget of $5,000 at that point in time. End up spending almost $8,000, $9,000 on the project itself, just
right,
from what they were doing all the way to when it happened with the 2008. Um,
right,
but I mean, I learned from everything from violations. We didn't have things done at that point in time, so they actually had the city was coming through. There were so many people in that house at that point in time. People were reporting us
oh
that
wow,
something was going on. Like they're like transients. They were thinking that transients were in there. So I'm getting up in the morning and I'm going down there and I have Albuquerque Police Department, which is Albuquerque, New Mexico, when I was doing the flip, coming up to me, hey, what's going on here? And I had to show, hey, no, I have the contract. This is what we're doing. Really explaining itself. So it was very hard at that point in time to kind of go through that. And I'm in my mid 20s at that point in time,
right,
and it was just going through that, understanding what the city was wanting when we were doing the flip. Things were up to code. Also, just going through the personal journey with my partner. It was his home himself, so he had a lot of ties to it and his family. Really
right,
emotional ties with his sister that had passed, and they were just trying to get all that taken care of as well. So there was a lot of things I was balancing from taking care of him, helping him out. Plus, we're trying to stay within budget. Also, taking care of some characters on this contract. These contractors, which were characters. So
right,
balancing on that was like my toughest thing I was going through when in the business. But I learned
right.
so much, and it made me actually want to go, even do it more after I finished up. Honestly, I was like, hey, going through it was terrible, but I was like, I'm gonna find the silver lining in this and make sure that I'm gonna continue with the journey and not quit and learn, get better.
That's a great
So
attitude to have.
yeah,
That's
no, I
awesome.
appreciate it. And I was thinking just from being an athlete, I ran at University of New Mexico as a in track. I
Yeah,
played sports all my life. I was like, hey, you don't score every touchdown. You can't just grab the football and score and break 100 down, 100-yard field
yeah,
and score every touchdown. You can't win every track meet. I was like, I just equated the same thing.
sure.
You're not going to win everything. So you just got to continue to grow and learn. And that's how I used it with that
That's
transaction.
that's awesome. So you've been into with a little bit of a break, the game for a little while. One of the hardest things that people find is, and I think you mentioned this earlier, is finding the funding to get into these deals. So,
Right.
back in 2007, your buddy brings you a, hey, I have my own personal house. So you don't have to worry about purchasing the house, but like you mentioned, that you had to fund the rehab.
Right.
So, out of curiosity, or mainly for the audience, how did you determine, or how did you figure out how to pay for that 8 grand that you had to pay for the rehab? Because that's where a lot of people get stuck, right? Like, I don't have any money, I don't know how to do this. So
Right.
some people figure it out, some people just get creative, some people just say,
True.
I'm you know I won't even get involved because I can't figure out where to start. So how did you do
Great
that?
Great question. So I had this thing called AMEX. It's called Amex. A little friend, I was like, "Hey, this is how you flip a house. You're gonna put everything on this card here." And so I was make actually I went 50-50 with the partner at the time, and that's how we did it. We're like, "Hey, you flip houses with the Amex cards, or credit cards," and that's how we started off, and that's how we did it. And we did not know that was not a great process to do. And but I was fortunate to at least have that opportunity to kind of just get in and take action.
Sure.
As we know now, you can use other people's money. You can actually use private money lenders. You can use
Sure.
hard money loans. At that point in time, we've heard about hard money loans. We just didn't know how to get into it. The information was out there. We saw people with a hard money loan, and we're like, what is that? Why is it so high? And what's going on here? So we're like, we just took a step back. We said, we're just going to pay this, ourselves. We'll get the money out of this, and kind of go forward and get to another project as well. But that was it. I mean, yeah, the friendly credit card, which I was like, hey, that's how you do this stuff, and then found out very quickly that's not the way you do it, because you're tapped out. Yeah, you're tapped out very quickly, and you're paying things down, and just to get back into the utilization on the card and everything too. So, but I learned from it, and I think just now what we've learned now, what we're doing, it's just a stronger opportunity of leveraging, and that's
Sure.
what I really learned, is just leveraging and understanding and working with people as a team, and just opening it up about your story to tell your story, so you can, hey, like we're right here, what do we need, and what do we do, so other people were able to reach out to you, or you're able to reach out to people and befriend them and say, hey, can we work together, or we can partner on something. So that's what I've
Right.
known now. It's a lot stronger.
It's funny you say that about Amex. I'm thinking, like, Amex, if you, depending on your credit score, you were probably paying 29%. So
Yes,
29% doesn't even sound bad when you, or sounds worse when you talk about a hard money loan that's only want to charge you only 20
I know.
or
20,
12, 13%,
it's so
right?
true.
Like, 12, 13%, are you kidding me? But I put it on a credit card for 29.
I know. That's exactly what
So
I did. Honest the truth, bro. So I was like, yeah, my trusty old Amex, and it's helped out over the years, and I'm a proud member for 20 plus years on it. But yeah, that one kicked me off. That was one of the cards I actually got after the conference. I was like, oh, I'm gonna need some extra cards to start flipping this house, and that was one that they had given to me. So I'm grateful
that,
for it, honestly. So it's part of my
that's
journey.
well, like you said, you took action, and that's great. So you shared a lot with us. Quick question for you: if you had
Yeah.
one nugget, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Something you can bestow on somebody who may be aspiring to be an investor, and don't really know how to start, or don't know what the benefit of becoming a real estate investor is. What kind of, like, knowledge can you bestow on somebody?
Great question. Thanks for saying that as well and ask the question. I'd say number one is what really helped me, and this has actually helped me really last year, was going to meetups. Meetups, getting into some type of, we have something that's what's AZREI. We have another meetup, which is Bash Bros, that's continually on Friday. Seeking out people that are like-minded around you, and being in the energy of that room and learning. And if you don't even know something, just be there to soak something up. And just keep on showing up, so you'll know, when it's time to take action. Who to lean on, who to reach out to, but making sure you have those connections is going to be a number one thing for me that I felt that really helped accelerate. Just like how we met as well. We met up at, it's basically a meetup or a conference, or retreat, and
Right.
that's what it is, building that relationship. And before, I did not know that when it comes down to business. I thought I do this all by myself, and let's just go. I'll get one more person to help me out, and let's go, and we'll hire. But doesn't work that way. And that's why I found number one thing I would tell people to get into some type of group or around a community as soon as possible. And that's how
Totally
you can
agreed.
accelerate it.
Totally agree. And for the audience, meetup.com. You can't, I'm here in Colorado, and there's probably 20 or 30 meetups a month. So there's not a lack of places where you can go, even if it's not necessarily real estate related. I've gone to house hacking, I've gone to um, wealth investing or wealth strategy type one. So it's not necessarily
Right.
real estate centric, but you have people in there that may have money that they're trying to invest, where this is where you get other people's money that you can partner with. So kind of
Absolutely.
be thinking outside the box. And you got my boy Voight here, that if you need some questions answered, I'm sure he can answer them for you, or if help you kind of brainstorm. And of course, you guys always got me. So
Likewise. Appreciate you.
you share what you do and what you've done. What is it that you're looking for? If somebody wanted to partner with you, if somebody wanted to follow your journey, like, what are you looking for, and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, great question. So information's right here as well. So thanks for allowing me to share that, Jose, and thanks for taking the time with me, man. You've been awesome, and we've connected before on the phone.
Absolutely.
It's we just kind of it it so easy to talk with you because we have so many different pillars that we can talk about, and just about life as well. And so thank you for that. The biggest thing right now, what we're looking at is just we're trying to expand, just like I said, within the Arizona market. So we're going to be looking at Maricopa, Pima. If anyone's looking to dial on the phone because we're dialing expired listings, pre-foreclosures. That's a big thing too, because a lot of times if we're jumping on the phone with a lot of these realtors or anyone that's looking to sell their home, we're seeing that return on investment a lot higher because you're getting a chance to speak with somebody, understanding what we call in our group, as we know, is the bunnies, their
Right.
actual pain point, and that's what's really taking it over. It's not just sending an email and hoping like kind of someone to reach back out to you. If you're picking that phone up, that's what we've really seen of connecting and getting to the next step in the process of what we're looking at as well. So if anybody that's willing to jump on the team and start calling, we do have a strong team right now. And we do provide everything with the system. We have Go High Level. We have you log into there. You get to track your calls. You get to listen to your calls. You have a free list. We get a free list every week, and we import those calls in. So we'll get 300 new leads in that need to be called or just broken up throughout the week. So we're always open to that and just to see if it's a good fit. So that's what I'm be looking at.
And for the audience, sometimes being what we classify as a cold caller, um, for an experienced investor, is kind of almost an entryway in. If you don't want to be a wholesaler, calling on people, you start building your sales skill set, because it actually ends up becoming a benefit for you in the future. I wish I had developed my sales skill set earlier. I'd probably be a better closer than I am now, and be able to close more deals and make more money. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, starting kind of from the bottom and with little to no money involved, and getting involved into this industry, into this game, hit my boy Voight up. He'll get you situated. Don't have to be in Arizona to do calls. You can be on the East Coast, West Coast. You can be in Canada. You can be in Europe. You just got to be able to call during the time where people are going to answer the phone with the list that he's going to provide you. So on that note, is that
Yeah,
list um, Maricopa and Pima County centric, or is this all over the country?
it would be just Arizona centric. So you're right, Maricopa and Pima at this point in time. That's where we're focusing in on our single family homes and possibly looking at some co-living as well in that area. So those are the two markets, correct?
Awesome. So you said your contact information is there. Do you want to give everybody
Yeah,
your Instagram, Facebook, and as always, guys,
absolutely.
don't worry about it. That'll be in the description. So just listen to it, and
Everything right here. You can actually, Google, IG, Facebook. I keep it simple, just my name, and I don't think anyone has my name.
or just
It's
scan
definitely
the
unique.
QR code.
Yep, it's a skin, and this has everything right here. So, and yeah, definitely love what you're doing and appreciate everything you've done for the community and just connecting with me. And
Yeah,
love to see your success each and every step of the way too. So, Southwest brothers,
appreciate it.
man, I'm telling you, we're Southwest
Yeah.
guys.
It's always been a pleasure talking to you ever since the day we met. Just reaching out. I mean, like, as you mentioned, we can sit here and talk for hours on end and never
Yes,
never get tired. And as the old saying, brother from another mother kind of thing. So
Yes.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. I appreciate your support. Looking forward to seeing you grow. We're both in the co-living space, so definitely want to expand there. You're going to Dallas, correct?
I'm not going to Dallas this time. It's just some
Oh,
other work obligations. I know it's crazy. I'm just like,
you're
so
killing
I'm
me,
telling
bro.
myself
You're
like,
killing me.
I said, I got what 10, 13 days. Maybe I'm gonna try to pull something. I'm gonna try to pull something out. But
Yeah,
if I don't, I'm gonna be still connecting with. Feel free to reach out. I mean, I'm still gonna be available when it comes down to connecting, jumping on Zooms. I'm on Facebook or all the social media all day. So if you hit me up, I'm gonna respond and we'll connect. Like I said, that's the biggest plans, just getting things done, um, and making these calls, and then see if we can get these connections as soon as possible. So, um, creating that lifestyle that we deserve.
absolutely. Well, again, my friend, thank you so much. It's been an honor
Appreciate
and a
you.
pleasure to have
Appreciate
you
you, bro.
here. To the audience, thank you for watching, especially to this point. Again, if you want to get with my boy, look in the description. You'll have his contact information to follow him or to partner with him. And until next time, later, fam.